So good afternoon. Thank you for taking the time to come and listen to me today. Not many people like to listen to me, so it's nice to meet students sometimes. If you can't understand something I say, please do let me know. Just like wave at me and just be like, yo, I can't understand what you're saying, can you repeat that? My name's Arjun, Arjun Sharan, as you can see over there. I'm from England and I work in international higher education. So I currently manage the strategy and operations for 35 universities in Asia. So I manage the entire Asia operations spanning from India, Nepal, Bangladesh, Pakistan, Sri Lanka, Vietnam, Cambodia, Laos, Malaysia, Thailand, blah blah blah, you get the point. Alright, so today what I'm here to do is to talk about artificial intelligence and machine learning and how that is changing the future. So the subjects that you opt for now are being affected by computer science, machine learning, artificial intelligence, and software programming. Okay, so after class 12, you're going to go to make college decisions. And I work with some of the best universities in the world, ranked top 100, ranked top 50, some are even ranked top 20 in the world. And the impact that computer science is having on the programs that all of my clients are delivering. It doesn't matter if it's machine learning, it doesn't matter if it's nursing, it doesn't matter if it's business, law, psychology, it doesn't really matter what field it's in. The impact that computer science is having is significant. So I'm just here to talk to you today to show you what subjects can be taken in the future and how you can model your thought process to create a significant impact in whatever you choose. How many students over here are looking to do business degrees in college or after class 12? Engineering? Alright. Psychology? Law, medicine, got a few medicine programs. Have I missed anything? Computer science, specific? Alright, architecture, interior design. Anyone looking to do creative arts? Theatre, dance, music? Yeah, awesome. So, the impact that computer science is having across all of these industries is quite significant. Before we get started, I'd just like to ask you one question. How many of you are actually looking at studying abroad after class 12? Alright, so I have brought along with me 4 universities which I will brief you about in the presentation. All of them are from England, English universities. And if you're interested in studying abroad, not just English universities, my clients are from Canada, USA, Ireland, Japan, Europe. If you're really interested in studying abroad, there's a form up here on my laptop. If you could fill that out, then that would be amazing and we could look at your options further. You can come up and fill it in during the presentation. I feel at the end of the presentation there might not be enough time for everyone to fill it in. So if you're interested, please don't be afraid and just come and fill in the form. So as I mentioned earlier, the aim of the presentation is to discuss the impact that computer science is having on today's economy. Subject doesn't matter because all subjects are being affected by progress in computer science and machine learning. So these are a few topics that we're going to be covering today. We'll get to each one later. Sorry. Okay. So what is artificial intelligence and what is machine learning? So we have an umbrella subject. Right? The umbrella subject is computer science. Artificial intelligence is a subspect or a sub-subject of computer science, and machine learning is artificial intelligence taken one step further. This is not part of the presentation, but can anyone tell me what is after machine learning? Anyone? Hands up, if you can tell me. Alright, so after machine learning comes deep learning. Okay, now deep learning is not something that we're going to be touching upon today. That's scary stuff. But today we're going to focus on artificial intelligence, which is basically a specialization of computer science that focuses on creating intelligent machines, alright, sending messages. So a very basic example of artificial intelligence would be email. Alright, so within a second, I can literally pull out my phone, write a couple of words, and someone in the USA, Brazil, UK, even somewhere in India could get my words instantaneously. That is a very, very small example of artificial intelligence. Machine learning is an application of artificial intelligence which allows the machine to learn autonomously on its own. Okay, so what I am saying to you today, you are receiving that information, learning from it, and creating a new output. Yeah? So the same way machines can do that via machine learning. So I'm going to go through a few examples. I feel that examples are the best way to go through it. So I'm going to segment the examples into artificial intelligence and machine learning. Please don't be mistaken. Machine learning is always going to be a part of artificial intelligence. So there's no right or wrong answer. But for the purpose of the presentation and to create clarity, I'm going to segment the two into two separate sections. Okay, so I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 examples over here. Okay, now I'm going to ask you guys to raise your hands when I ask a question, and I want you to let me know if it's artificial intelligence or machine learning. Okay, does everyone recognize what this one is on the right? Yeah, YouTube. I'm sorry for my taste in music. It's a screenshot I've literally taken from my phone. And to be honest, I'm not so sorry. My music taste is awesome. I mean, you know. So, can anyone tell who thinks that this is specifically artificial intelligence? Hands up. How many of you think that's machine learning? Alright, so all of you who put your hands up for machine learning, congratulations, you are correct. Now I'm going to explain how. As we can see, I was listening to this great song, by the way, On Our Knees. Great song. If you haven't heard it, please do listen to it. Alright, now what happens is, in the system, which has been programmed, my input was On Our Knees. Yeah. I wasn't looking for all of these suggestions. That's not what I was looking for. I was not interested in that. I was looking for that. Now what YouTube has done, it has taken my input, and on its own, it has analyzed the artist, it's analyzed who it features, it's analyzed if it was a mix or original, it's analyzed the instruments that I used, it's analyzed the tone of the music, it's analyzed the vibe of the music, and after that, it has autonomously, without me having to do anything, without someone having to code it in or program it, it has automatically suggested these options to me. That is an example of a machine learning on its own. Has everyone got my point? Yeah? Awesome. So that would be... Can you guys hear something? Like a radio or something? What is that? Oh, it's coming from outside. Alright, sorry. That was just really distracting. So, yeah. Now, can anyone recognize what this one is? Uber. Now, which one of you guys think that that is machine learning? Hands up. How many of you think it's artificial intelligence? Alright, so those who thought it was artificial intelligence, congratulations. You are correct. Now, I would ask why, but I have a feeling if all 100 of you just start shouting the reason at the same time, no one's going to understand anything, especially me, so I'm just going to explain it. Over here, the machine, which is the Uber application, it doesn't have to learn anything. Right? You've given your input, you've given the output of where you want to be dropped off. So once the input is gone, a driver is going to come, he's going to smile, hopefully. He's going to open the door for you, never. And he's going to pick you up and drop you off where you have to go. There is no learning that the machine has to do. Yeah? Everyone getting the distinction that I'm trying to make? Alright, how many of you play video games? Alright, quite a lot of you. Sweet, so I'm pretty sure some of you will be able to recognize what this is. Which one? Oh, 4. It's Far Cry 4. Alright, so, can anyone tell me if that... Who thinks this is artificial intelligence? Who thinks this is machine learning? So everyone's a bit confused about this one. Alright guys, so this one is machine learning. And I'm going to tell you why. Okay, so I'm this guy with the bow and arrow, taking on an elephant. Best of luck. He's definitely going to get slaughtered. But what happens is, like, say if the elephant is running towards me, like straight, I'm the guy with the bow and arrow, right? And the guy's running towards me. With the joystick, I'm going to move right, so I'm going to move over in this direction. Who thinks that the elephant is just going to keep running straight and run into a tree or a car or whatever? It's not. It's going to change its trajectory and go towards me, right? And keep attacking me regardless of where I stand. So that means that the input I am providing, which is moving the joystick to the right and moving my character to the right, the machine, which will be PlayStation or Xbox. Who likes PlayStation? Who likes Xbox? So whoever likes Xbox, I'm really sorry, but we cannot be friends. I'm just really sorry, it's just not going to happen. I'm a PlayStation guy all the way. So what happens is the input that I'm providing is making the character move to the right. The machine is learning from that on its own and changing the trajectory of the elephant to come and attack me. Okay, now, can anyone tell me what this is? Alright, so this is a concept image of a Tesla. It's one of the original concept images of a self-driving car. Alright, so as you can see, and there's hundreds of reasons why self-driving cars will never work in India. And it's just not going to happen. I'm sorry, but it's just really, can't happen. So I'm going to explain a few reasons why. So as we can see, there are lane demarcations on the road, and they're being analyzed by the interface, right? By the system in the Tesla. So I don't know how many of you have seen a Tesla, but on the outside of the Tesla, there are around 8 to 9 cameras constantly working all the time, in real time, analyzing the surroundings. So what the camera is doing is it's analyzing the demarcations of lanes to tell the car that you have to stay within the lanes. Okay, that's number one, why it won't work in India. India doesn't have lanes. You know, there's no such thing as a lane in India. Number two, the cameras are focusing on other vehicles. Okay, it's measuring the distance, measuring the speed on a real-time basis and adjusting the car automatically. How fast can the car go? Can I move into another lane? If I move into the lane, will it disturb the people behind me? Will it create an accident? Etc., etc. So that's reason number two, why it's never going to work in India, because everyone is everywhere. You know, you never know when someone's going to come in front of you, when someone is behind you, when someone has smashed your side mirror, when someone is just going to hit the brakes and jump out of the car because they feel like it. You know, so again, number three, we've got the road signs up top, which basically tells the car what the consumption is. Alright, so there's going to be a distance on there, like 250 kilometers, 100 kilometers. This is probably in America. So it'll tell the car what the capacity of the car is and whether the car can reach the destination. So all of these things are taken into consideration, and that's pretty much why it'll never work in India, because India doesn't have this infrastructure at the moment. So 2 years ago, I moved to Delhi. Before that, I was in the UK. I've been born and brought up in England. And I have to say that because of my job, I travel all across India. Last year, I took around 138 flights traveling within India. Kolkata, Bangalore, Kochi, Bombay, Pune, Kanpur, Lucknow, wherever, you name it. Like, I've probably been there. Um, I can hands down guarantee that Delhi has the best road infrastructure that the country has to offer, right? And trust me, it's nothing special, but it is the best in the country. And even in Delhi, there are probably 4 roads where you can see stuff like this, to this efficiency. Yeah, and then obviously you've got to factor in that there's a cow that's going to turn up, and then there's a dog that's going to turn up, and then there's probably, you know, someone running with an ice cream cart in front of you. It's just too unpredictable a place for self-driving cars to focus in real time. Because whatever you say, like, a machine will not be that efficient when you throw more and more variables at them. But now, back to the presentation. Artificial intelligence, hands up. Machine learning, hands up. So those of you who said machine learning, so those of you who said artificial intelligence, you're technically not wrong. But for the purpose of this presentation, that would be classified as machine learning. Because on a real-time basis, that car is understanding its surroundings, analyzing its surroundings, and changing the way it operates, like we would, like we do. Now this is the coolest thing ever, guys. I love it. So this young lady over here from China, this is a recent development that has come in China. Now this is a hologram. So this lady is not an actual person. This is basically a projection that is being created where she just kind of, there's a plate on the floor and she just kind of springs out of that plate. You can literally walk through her and nothing will change. And what she is doing is she is reading the news. Okay, so she literally comes up, reads the news, the headlines, and then disappears again. Okay? Now, can anyone tell me if this is artificial intelligence or machine learning? So AI, hands up. Machine learning, hands up. Alright, so those of you who said AI for the purpose of this presentation, you are correct. The reason why is because if you talk to her, she will not be able to respond to you. So the input that you give her, she will not be able to analyze that and respond accordingly. She'll just keep yapping on about the news and you'll just feel ignored. Okay, now can anyone tell me a software or a product where if you talk to them, they give you an adequate response? Alright, so all of you pretty much. So all of you pretty much, we've got Siri, we've got Alexa, we've got Google Assistant, we've got all of that. So, one of the happiest days of my life is going to be when that software, Alexa or Siri, or basically a voice assistant software, is integrated with that, so that who's that guy on TV? He's really loud, he shouts all the time, he likes to speak. Yeah, so one of the best days of my life is when that software integrates with that and he loses his job. Alright, and I'm not making a political statement, I'm politically neutral, I do not make political statements like that, especially in India. So I'm just making that statement because he's just annoying. And he's just loud and obnoxious. So, you know, like, I just don't like his whole persona. You know, what he says politically, I don't really care. Alright, so what is the future impact that these projects, these revelations in machine learning and computer science, what is the impact that it's going to have on the future? That is what I'm here to talk to you about. And we're going to have a look at the changing global trends. Now, I'm going to ask you a question, and the answer is going to be whether they can keep the job or whether they're going to lose the job. Okay? So, I have a friend from London. He's an elderly guy, he's around 39, 40. And his ex-wife is one of the best at what she does. Right? She knows 6 languages, she's a translator, she works for the United Nations, and she is a stone cold killer. Like, she is epic at what she does. She works as a translator for the United Nations. She's traveled the world, translated for Putin, for Trump, for Theresa May, she's basically just like a high-level delegate who translates at the highest level of interaction that the world has to offer right now. Okay? Now, who thinks that she's going to keep her job in the next 2 to 3 years? Who thinks that her job is still going to exist? Yeah, got a couple of hands. Who thinks it's not going to exist? Right, so it's not. Right, because right now there is a translating device that has been developed. You put it in one ear. If you talk to me in Hindi or whichever language, French, Spanish, and that setting on that earbud is English, then what you say, that earbud will translate in real time and tell me in English. Yeah, so there's pretty much no need for a translator anymore because, you know, it's already covered. So what I'm here to do is to try and inform you of the ways that technology is changing the global market so that after you step out of school in class 12 and when you go and study, you can make better subject choices and choices where you don't end up maybe jobless after a couple of years. Now, I'm really sorry for the people sat at the back. I don't think you're going to be able to see this one properly. But I'm going to try my best to explain it to you in the best way I can. I'm going to take a couple of examples. So on the on the y-axis, right? Sorry, it's been a long time. On the y-axis, we've got a range of industries, okay? We've got educational services, management, healthcare, administrative, real estate, arts and entertainment, finance, construction, mining, retail, and manufacturing. On the bottom, on the x-axis, we've got different aspects of each of these businesses. We've got managing others, applying your expertise, stakeholder interaction, unpredictable physical work, data collection, processing data, and predictable physical work. Okay? Now over here is a graph of how much can be done via machines. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take one example. Finance and insurance. Okay? If we look over here, that is 100% of predictable physical work. So 100% of all predictable physical work in the finance and insurance sector can be done via machines. Is this thing on loop? Does it just keep talking? Or is it just me who can hear that? Where is it coming from? Is it coming from outside? Oh no, it's a non-audio. Is it coming from my laptop? Oh, it's coming from my laptop. Damn. So that happened. Sorry about that. That's just really a bit annoying me. Sorry. So, who has seen The Wolf of Wall Street? Right. So when DiCaprio was, he first moved to New York. So when DiCaprio first moved to New York, he was a budding stockbroker, and he was really excited for his job. What he does is he picks up the phone and makes a sale. Yeah, and he sells stock to someone. Now, can anyone remember that there was a chit that he wrote on? Right? So after writing the trade on that chit, he or someone else from that organization would take the chit, run to the other side of the room, put it in a tube, and that tube would just go zoop, take the chit, it would transport it directly to the records room, where it would be taken out. Someone would input that data onto a computer, and then, okay, that person officially owns like 0.00001% of Apple because he bought 100 shares. So that's how the process used to work. Now, right now, stockbroker picks up the phone, makes a call, sells some stock, 3 buttons on a computer, and that whole process of running over there, putting it in the tube, someone in records taking it out, updating the system, that's all gone. So that's at least 2 people right there that have lost their job because it's non-existent anymore. So that like 100% of all predictable physical work in the finance and insurance sector does not need to be done by human beings anymore. It can all be done by machines. Okay, so let's take another example. We have over here, healthcare. Okay, in healthcare, data collection is 60%. 60% of data collection in the healthcare industry can be done by machines. All right, can anyone tell me why? Actually, never mind, I'll just tell you. It's too many people. So, what happens is there are certain strands of diseases, there are certain procedures that need to be done, there are certain medicines that need to be prescribed to. So, in most occasions, once you have inputted a prescription into the computer, it is automatically updated. Right? But then each disease has a various strand and can change by a fraction of a percentage. Due to that fraction of a percentage, we still need a professional to input the data. Because that fraction of a percentage, when it comes to someone's health, makes a difference. Yeah? When it comes to, like, say you've got a fever, or say you've got a broken leg, or say you've got, I don't know, a runny nose or a chest infection, ear infection, that kind of stuff can be done via machines. Like machines can collect the data of the medicine that you need, of the procedure that you need, etc. But when it comes to more complex situations, like brain surgery, I wouldn't really trust a machine, to operate on my brain. Now, educational services. We've got managing others, 10%. So 10% of managing others can be done by machines. Now, the reason why I took educational services as an example is because that's what I do. I work in the education sector, and as I mentioned, I manage the Asia strategy for 35 universities. Now, how many of you think that I can do that alone? Thank God. So no, I can't. I can't do it alone. I have a team of 14 to 15 people based in Delhi, Mumbai, and London. What happens is, I have to manage those people. Right? Now, how many of you think that a machine can do my job? How many of you think a machine can't do my job? Now, can anyone tell me, actually, never mind. I'll just tell you why a machine can't do my job. There are 2 things which are just blatantly obvious. One is emotional intelligence. Right? People are emotional beings. Now, I'm not saying my emotional intelligence is great. It's pretty bad, to be honest. Like, I just don't care. Like, just get the job done. Whatever problems you're having, I'm sure they'll sort themselves out. But there is a certain level of empathy that you have to show towards people that you work with. There is a certain level of empathy that you have to show to your classmates. You have to understand it from other people's perspectives. A machine will never do that. A machine will always be focused on the most efficient way to get that output. Right? A machine is really not going to be able to empathize with you, and it's just going to be like, this is what needs to be done, do it. That's not how the real world works at the moment. So the fact that I need to use my emotional intelligence to manage that team is one reason why a machine can't do my job. Right? A machine right now cannot stand up here and explain all of this to you. Maybe if we go back, maybe in a couple of years, I will be like that, and there'll be a metal plate over here, and I'll just pop out and I'll start doing da 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 da. But I'll be sat in Delhi or London or wherever, so I won't actually physically have to be here. But we haven't reached that stage yet. So the second reason is motivation. A machine will not be able to motivate people. If a machine tells you, like, to be very honest, a machine does tell me what I have to do. I've got a calendar on my phone. All of my staff members keep updating my calendar. You have this engagement, you have that engagement, you've got this meeting, you've got this presentation, blah, blah, blah. I look at it and I turn it off. And I just like, who's going to care if a machine is going to tell you what to do? You know, but if they call me, or if your teacher comes and tells you that, dude, you got to study. If a machine tells you got to study, you're just going to be like, silent, go away, I don't care about you. You know, but you can't exactly turn your teacher on silent, can you? I mean, I know when I was a student, I wish I could, but you just can't, you know. So, yeah, so here's a breakdown of kind of how much the technology has impacted the industries. Now we're going to go into a bit more, you know, individualistic industries right now, so that we can cover probably, hopefully, what all of you would like to do. So the first one we're going to start with is the creatives industry. Okay, so this is a bunch of countries: China, Germany, India, Japan, Mexico, and the USA. And down there, you can see the percentage of change and the percentage of contribution that technology has done to A, increase productivity in that sector, and B, produce employment and help in the job market. Okay? So if we look at Japan, technology has led to a negative 4% in productivity and employment in Japan. Now, to be very honest with you, that's got nothing to do with technology, like at all. Japan is one of the only countries in the world which has a declining population rate, and Japan is also one of the most advanced economies in the world. Okay, so when we look over here, and it says negative 4%, that is, the primary reason for that would be that because Japan's got a declining population rate, and the second reason for that is because it's already at the top of its game right now. Like, advancements in Japan are not the same as advancements here. You know, so the impact that technology is going to have in Japan is going to be relatively low because it's already been implemented. Right? In India, all the technology has not been implemented yet, so the impact that it has is significantly higher. All right. Now, I'm going to give you probably one of the worst examples, and I probably want to jump off, you know, a fifth floor balcony for saying this. But a contribution towards the creative arts in India, an example that I can give you. For some of you, it might be positive. For me, it's definitely negative. Dingjak Puja. I mean, like, we all know what she did, and we all know why she's famous. And to be honest, like, for me, who thinks that that's a positive for the creatives industry? And please tell me, I'd really be interested to know. Alright, so what she has done is she has contributed towards the creative industry, positively or negatively, we're not too sure about. I am, but I'm not going to make blanket statements. Now, the creatives industry involves musicians, it involves artists, it involves theatre, film, painters, sculptors. So my brother, he's 2 years younger than I am, he is currently catching up with technology. So as a family, we've always been very inclined towards technology, but we've also been very doubtful of it at the same time. Social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, Snapchat, LinkedIn, whatever, there's like 1,000. Like, we're not on it. I'm not on any social media because I just don't think that it is beneficial for society to be on social media. That is one man's opinion. Please don't, think that I'm influencing you against it. But my brother, he's an actor in London, so he's a Hollywood actor. Currently he's doing theatre and plays, and he's working in the West End in London. He's about to start going into TV shows, Netflix shows and stuff like that. But he is realizing the impact that technology is having on his industry. He needs to learn about CGI, right? He needs to learn about green screens. He needs to learn about how stunts are created and the different aspects of filmmaking that technology encompasses. Because if he needs to stay relevant in his field, he needs to understand how the various technologies can help him and help his goals. Moving on. Technology professionals. As we can see, there is 129% growth in India for technology professionals due to technology. That kind of makes sense, right? Technology helps technology professionals. It just kind of is what it is. Again, as we can see in more developed nations, the United States, Japan, sorry guys, Germany, China, the impact technology is having is significantly less. Why? Because they already have it. You know, it's like when fire was created, the impact it had where it was created. After 10 years, it was a lot lower. But after 10 years, when fire moved from, say, India to Russia, Russians must have been like, oh my God, this is amazing. But in India, the impact was minimal because it already existed, right? In Russia, it was new, so they needed to kind of understand how it works. We've got teachers. By teachers, we don't just mean school teachers, we mean educational professionals like myself, support workers, universities, colleges, PhDs, medical schools, everything is encompassed. Yeah, is everyone noticing why? And can anyone tell me why India is probably going to be amongst the top all the time? One is because, guys, we have way too many people. Like, this country just has like people like everywhere. It's just ridiculous. Like I have not had a moment's peace since I moved to India 2 years ago because there's just people everywhere. You know, and I've looked for a quiet space. I just got into my car in Delhi and hit the road, and I'm just like, I'm gonna go and find somewhere quiet. It's not possible. I just can't find anywhere. So, right now, my job would not be possible without the use of technology. I have a complete back-end system and a completely ruled by the Google Drive. And we are about to translate that and change it onto a complete website with a back end of our own, and it's going to be a complete application system just to make things easier for our clients. That's what I'm working on at the moment for company business. Without technology, it would be impossible for me to function. Right now, I've rented an Ola for the day, one of those 8-hour schemes. Without technology, impossible. Getting to Kolkata, I just went online, booked a flight, booked a hotel, everything was easy. Technology made that possible. Remembering that I had to come here today, technology, and my staff members, but that's different. The presentation, this would be impossible to show you without technology. The way I coordinate with all of my clients, impossible. So technology is affecting my job on a regular basis, and if I am unable, so I'm not a specialist in technology. I went to university in Nottingham in the UK, and I studied business management with accounting and finance. And after that I realized I want nothing to do with accounting and finance because it's boring. You know, so I'm not a specialist, but I understand the value that it has, and I understand that if I am not able to stay up to date in regards to technology and growth, I'm going to become insignificant after a while. Managers and executives. As you can see, the impact is relatively lower because technology can't do that job. Yep, technology cannot compensate for what managers and executives do. Technology cannot do my job of managing 14 to 15 employees. Technology can't do your principal's job of, you know, operating a school. Builders. So as we can see, the building industry is definitely being helped via technology. Not so much in developed economies. So I'm guessing all of you go home every day. Yeah? Yeah? So, you guys have probably been taking the same route home for years, right? Like, it's the same road, you recognize it, you could probably do it with your eyes closed. Yeah? How many of you have, like, a single patch of road or a pothole somewhere And you can just automatically visualize it and be like, oh my god, I hate this patch of road, man. Like, why does it exist still? Why can't it disappear? Like, how many of you have that kind of a road on your way home where, you know, you just think about it and like, think about your route home right now. Think about the road that you take. How many of you can tell me that there's a pothole or an absolutely shoddy, disgusting piece of road which you just want disappears? Right? Everyone. I've got at least 3 on my way home and I want to shoot somebody because of it. But in China, alright, 9%, a whole highway collapsed. You know, there was traffic jams, the highway collapsed, there was just like pandemonium everywhere and everyone was just losing it like, oh my god, how is this possible? Within 9 days, that highway was constructed, redeveloped, and back up and running. Right. How many years have you guys lived in your home with that same bloody pothole there? Right? It's been years, and it's still not being fixed. You know, that's why that is down at 9%, because of the efficiency of the economy, which is aided by technology. India's getting there, but obviously it has a lot of, you know, room to grow. Care providers. So doctors, nurses, medical professionals, or people who work with the community, people who work with children, etc., they are benefiting extremely, well, a lot from technology. So I'll give you one more example, okay? When I was at college, when I was at university, there was this society called RAG, the R-E-G Society, RAG, Raising and Giving. It was a charitable organization where we were responsible to raise money for any cause that we wanted. So, my parents have now shifted to Dehradun. So, we live in Dehradun now. I live in Delhi, my brother lives in London. But there's an underprivileged girls' school in Dehradun, which my mum and dad are very fond of, and they contribute towards, right? We just feel like everyone deserves an education. And when I say poor, I mean like, you know, like, it's quite a bad situation, you know. So over the years, we've contributed towards the school. They've got desks, tables, pens, fans, chalkboards, teachers, breakfast and lunch, transportation, you know, and it's slowly developing. So when I was at university in my final year, I was like, okay, it's time for me to grow up, and I'm going to try and help other people instead of just trying to fix my own life. So I decided that I'm going to participate in RAG, and whatever happens, I'm going to contribute those proceeds to the underprivileged girls' school, right? So the system of RAG was completely based on social media. So I struggled there because I wasn't on social media. So for that purpose, I got onto social media. I added all of my friends like a mad person. All of my friends got a friends notification in one day, and they're just like, what's going on with you? And I shared with them my charity page, and I was like, look, however much you contribute, I will double it, okay? And what you contribute to, I'm going to double it and go skydiving for charity. Okay, that doesn't sound very smart, right? Like, skydiving costs money. How can you spend that when you have to, you know, give it to the underprivileged girls? So I ended up raising around £1,000, right, which is around 1 lakh or 80,000 to 1 lakh rupees. Contributions from my family, my father donated a bit, my uncle donated a bit, my brothers, my friends, family, people at university who I played squash with, who I played tennis with, who were part of my other societies, the banking society, etc. They all contributed, and I ended up getting £1,000 to go skydiving. So I'm like, okay, let's go. So I went to Prague, which has the cheapest skydiving in Europe. And I was like, I'm going to jump out of a plane for these girls. Right. Again, it doesn't sound very productive, does it? It's not, you're an idiot, man. Why didn't you just give the money to the girls or the girls' school? They could have done better. You spent £500 to fly to Prague, go skydiving, and come back. That's 50,000 rupees you could have given to the school. But the concept of raising and giving is that you gain more with the wilder the activity you do. So when I jumped out of the plane, I had it recorded. On my shirt and on my uniform had the name of the underprivileged girls' school. Before I jumped out of the plane, I dedicated that jump to the girls, and I was like, this is for the girls of the Kendra Vidyalaya in Dehradun. You know, if you guys would like to contribute more, I would be more than happy. If you could, it's going towards a good cause. Please do help me out. This jump is for them. I'm going to risk my life for them because they deserve it, and they deserve as much as I've got. Yeah, so I jumped out of the plane, I landed safely, a bit traumatized. But when I returned to England from Prague, I found that in that same link where I was raising money to go skydiving, I'd reached £2,500. Because everyone had seen my dive and been like, this guy's doing it for a good cause, we're going to contribute more money. So I ended up with that jump creating more money for the underprivileged girls' school than I originally had. None of that would have been possible without technology. Right? That money that I created would not have been possible if not for technology. How many of you have heard of Teach for India? So Teach for India is an organization which assigns people to underprivileged schools across the country. After 2 years, you become a Teach for India fellow. You get an academic qualification from Teach for India. You go for a 6-week training to their campus in Pune. And after 2 years, you're entitled to scholarships to colleges. You've got a good amount of work experience on your CV, etc. Teach for India's main source of recruitment is social media. They advertise across Facebook, Instagram, Twitter to gain their employees of the future. So Teach for India distributes around 600 members of staff every year across India. There's definitely a Teach for India Foundation school in Calcutta as well. There's a couple in Delhi, a couple in Pune, Bombay, etc. So without social media and technology, those 600 people who are teaching approximately 100 kids each would not be possible. Yeah, so that's 60,000 children, if my maths is correct, that are being benefited because of Teach for India and the way technology has helped it function. Professionals. So by professionals, we mean people who are specialists. You know, doctors, lawyers, F1 race car drivers. Like, a machine can't do that stuff. You know, that's why the impact of technology is relatively low. Office support. Yeah. So as you can see, 20% negative United States, negative 23% Japan, negative 15% Germany. Office support is not needed anymore. It's not a growing industry. It is not something that you should study in the future. It's just not something to aspire towards, to be very honest. The impact that technology has had is changing all of these, and soon it's not going to be needed. Right now, because my company is based in London, not my company, the company I work for is based in London, we're completely controlled by the data privacy laws of Europe. Instead of doing what normal people would do, is call a lawyer and ask, like, what's up? How can I save myself from jail time and a possible fine by, protecting myself in regards to data privacy? I just went online and Googled it, got sent to an online legal consultancy firm which literally consult for 500 rupees for half an hour, and they told me everything I needed to know. Yep. So the office support, which would normally a paralegal would have done in a law firm, not needed anymore. Predictable physical work. Just, yeah. Like I mentioned earlier, with the finance thing, it's not needed anymore. Dishwashers in restaurants, cleaners, it's just really not needed anymore. Customer interaction, entertainment industry, food workers, sales, the growth is minimalistic because of technology. Now there are restaurants which require 2 employees. You order from a tablet on the table and the food cooks itself in the kitchen. There's only one person that's needed to transport the food from the kitchen to your table. That's about it. Otherwise there's no need to really have, 10 and 10 members of staff in the kitchen to cook you your meal. Unpredictable physical work. So right now every industry is reaching a point where everything is predicted. Right? Unpredictable physical work is really minimalistic. Like I can already tell you what is about to hinder my job, what issues I have to face, how to change those, how to work on those. There is nothing really unpredictable that I don't know about that's going to happen in my line of work. Because it's all pretty standardized and it's all pretty, developed. So unpredictable physical work already kind of doesn't exist. And with the help of technology, there's really no need to be a specialist in that area and domain. One of the main players in India, which has taken over this market and reduced that, Urban Clap. Yeah, Urban Clap is probably responsible to the downgrade in this because they've just kind of capitalized on all unpredictable physical work. Anything that needs to be done, you just call Urban Clap and you've got someone at your doorstep. So now we've kind of looked at a couple of industries and we've gone through it. Let's talk about the subjects of the future. One of the main subjects of the future, creativity. Creative industries are definitely something. Robots, machines, computer scientists, softwares are unable to create art. Right? How many of you like Imagine Dragons? Right? It's a good band. It's pretty awesome. So, how many of you think that a machine can do what Imagine Dragons does? Okay, so how many of you think that a machine can replicate what Imagine Dragons does? Correct. But when it comes down to actually creating music, a machine cannot do it. To replicate the music, of course. But to actually sit down and visualize what beats are going to be there, what the lyrics are going to be, etc., etc., a machine is unable to do it at the moment. It probably will in the future. So we have deep learning. This is just kind of a bunch of stuff that goes on. Deep learning is... So when we were talking about machine learning earlier, right, there was an input. You input it into a machine. The machine learns, creates an output. That output is then fed into the machine to create more outputs, right? Like YouTube, right? You keep feeding an input and it automatically starts catering a playlist to what you want, music, video options. So I've recently gotten into Formula One and I've been trying to learn a little bit about Formula One and race car driving. My YouTube is now full of F1 suggestions because it's understood that this is something that I'm into right now. So this is something that we need to cater towards. When it comes to deep learning, the output and input cycle continues. But the machine also autonomously is able to learn and manipulate itself in different directions at the same time. Okay, so right now if I put an input of a song into YouTube, the output is that it creates suggestions for me. Yeah, when it comes to deep learning, the output will be that the machine understands that song, learns from that song, and is able to create beats and lyrics and songs on its own. Like, deep learning is scary stuff because deep learning is the realm where machines are able to do what we do without us needing to do it. Yep, so there's a bit of a moral dilemma that is going on. All the top professionals in the world, Elon Musk, Mark Zuckerberg, Jeff Bezos, Bill Gates, there's a divided opinion. Bill Gates feels that deep learning should just be banned and no one should be able to go near it. Jeff Bezos is like, yeah, let's just do it. What's the worst that can happen? The worst that can happen is Terminator. You know, I mean, like, to be realistic, like, that's the worst that can happen. But, yeah. Creative arts, so dance, theatre, music, arts. These are things that machines can't do right now. Definitely worthwhile. Design. Right? Can anyone tell me who thinks a machine can do interior design? Yep. So tell me something. All of us are individuals, right? Like, we all have our own tastes, our own preferences, the way we like things, the way we don't like things. A machine will never be able to do interior designing on such an individual level. If you want to make standard flats with a standard setup and just basically every flat looks the same, yeah, a machine will be able to do it. But then a machine is able to create a house. You are the people who are able to make it a home. So, moving on, I've got a couple of universities here today. Again, like I mentioned at the beginning, if you're interested in studying abroad, there's a form over here that you can fill. I'll probably do it after the presentation now, but if you're interested, please do come and fill it. The first one I've got is the University of Sheffield. The University of Sheffield is one of the best universities in the world. It's ranked 78th globally. The research output of the University of Sheffield is immense. They contribute around part of this 86.8 billion towards the UK economy. So the Russell Group rank of universities are the top 24 research universities in the UK. In developed economies, research is how it progresses. Right? The government will give funds to universities to research in certain topics, and that is how the economy will progress. Similarly, there's a similar reason why IITs and IIMs are very popular in India, because all of the cutting edge research that is being done in India is coming out of IITs and IIM. So the University of Sheffield is #1 in architecture. In England, it beats Oxford and Cambridge and everyone as well. Automobile manufacturing and automobile engineering, it is very good at as well. It's got a great design school, and it's also really good for humanities and social sciences. The second university I've got is the University of York. University of York has the best framework for teaching excellence. So it's got teaching excellence of gold. It's great at psychology, both clinical and non-clinical psychology. It is also excellent at humanities and social sciences. Economics, politics, international relations, English and creative writing. This is the campus, so as you can see, it's a beautiful campus. And it's just an overall beautiful university to study at, located in the north of England, and it's just a great place to be. London South Bank University, as the name suggests, it is based in London. And London South Bank University unapologetically, without fail, takes advantage of its location. That's LSBU right there. 15 minutes, 20 minutes in that direction, you've got the UK House of Parliament. 15 minutes in that direction, you've got the Financial District. 25 minutes in that direction, you've got the Arts and Theatre area of London, which is the West End. You've got the War Museum, Festival Hall, and one of the largest tourist areas in the world, the London Eye, right at your doorstep. It is smack bang in the center of one of the most vibrant and multicultural cities the world has to offer right now. And it takes full advantage of it by being ranked in the top 5 universities in the UK, first in the UK in 2016 for entrepreneurship. So all of those who are looking at starting their own business in the future, this is a great university to look at. And also, it is very highly ranked for its employability and graduate salaries. Obviously, because of its location, it has great tie-ups in the finance sector, arts, politics and international relations, history, engineering, etc., etc. The University of Roehampton. So how many of you are environmentally conscious? Like, how many of you care about the environment and actively work towards, if not helping, then not harming the environment? So the University of Roehampton is famous in London for its green initiative. It is one of the only universities that has such a strong green initiative that a couple of departments are just run off renewable energy. It is also very well known for its journalism and media education. Sports, if anyone's into sports, then sport management, sport engineering, the University of Roehampton is really, really good for. And also critical thinking. The University of Roehampton helps its students in critical thinking and critical analysis. Okay? So, thank you guys. I hope the presentation was entertaining and you learned a little bit out of it. You guys have been a great audience. Again, I'm going to repeat, if you're interested in studying abroad, please come and fill in this form over here, and you can be contacted by any of the 4 universities I've shown. Thank you, and have a great day.